Hey y'all, today I'm in Clarksville, Tennessee, just northwest of Nashville, to share the buried story of little Nannie Tyler, born 1881, died 1885. She's buried in the beautiful Greenwood Cemetery here in Clarksville. As you drive in, you'll notice the sign for this old witness tree. The sign reads, "This white oak has stood in this spot long before the cemetery was created. It has witnessed the funerals of two Tennessee state governors, several state representatives, city mayors and judges, state congressmen, a state senator who also served as Speaker of the House, a U.S. Supreme Court judge and Postmaster General, a TV movie personality, numerous veterans, and many city dignitaries, all important to the history of Clarksville." This is a large old cemetery with a lot of interesting and detailed monuments like this one. Let's look around a bit before we go visit little Nannie. The Johnsons here were neighbors to the Tylers in life, and they are neighbors in death as well. Their plot is just across the road from the Tyler plot. And this is Polk Grundy Johnson, born 1844, died 1889. And now we come to the grave of Nannie. She was just 4 years old when she somehow contracted diphtheria and passed away. She was the firstborn child of Judge Charles W. Tyler and his wife Molly. And out of the thousands of graves here, hers is the most visited in the cemetery. Her obituary reads in part, "Every sympathetic heart in Clarksville has been touched to the core by the death of little Nannie Tyler. The sad event occurred at the family residence on Greenwood Avenue at 7 o'clock Wednesday morning, the 9th. She was exceptionally bright and pretty and was loved and petted by all who knew her. The cause of little Nannie's death was diphtheria. The interment took place in Greenwood Cemetery Wednesday afternoon." In those days, when someone died of a contagious disease such as diphtheria, they were buried immediately with little time to say goodbye for the grieving parents. This is Charles and Molly Tyler. The photo was likely taken on their wedding day. This is the grave of her mother, Molly. "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Born April 21st, 1849, died August 9th, 1900. It was written she had a beautiful singing voice and was loved by many. This next beautiful monument is for Mildred Tyler, Nannie's grandmother. She was born November 1809 and entered into rest January 1884. And this must have been her favorite hymn, "Just As I Am," written by Charlotte Elliott in 1835. The back of her monument says, "Our Mother," and "Thy will be done." The next grave we'll look at is Nannie's father, Judge Tyler. Charles Waller Tyler, 1839 to 1920. He served Clarksville for 47 years as a judge. He was also an author of several books and was greatly respected. But notice how simple his stone is compared to the women in his life. This speaks to the love and respect he had for them. There was seldom a Sunday that passed without him visiting their gravesites. Judge Tyler had little Nannie's statue made in Italy. It's marble with amazing detail. Notice the ruffles and bows and horsehair trim of the dress. Even her name plaque is beautiful. A photo of the real Nannie. Her little hand, which is broken now, once held a rose. And her visitors still leave trinkets for her. I've seen photos of her surrounded by flowers that people have left. And there's a story that for years, an unknown person, would leave a single red flower in her hand every day. No one ever knew who that person was. In the back of her dress, and her little shoes, it says, "Our little darling." And this side of the stone reads, "Safe in the arms of Jesus." But while little Nannie's soul was safe, her statue was not. In June of 1996, thieves crept into the cemetery, chiseled off the marble statue from its base, and stole it. The people of Clarksville were shocked, saddened, and in disbelief that someone could do such a thing as desecrate the grave of a little 4-year-old girl. Neighbor Bill Young would visit his father and brother's graves every day and was quoted as saying, "It's the most awful thing I can think of happening." Mr. Young was so outraged by the theft that he offered a $1,000 reward for her return. The story made national news and had everyone on the lookout for little Nannie's statue. Luckily, an antique dealer in Boston placed an ad in a magazine offering a statue for sale. Readers immediately recognized the statue as that of the missing Nannie, and many people called to let him know that he was attempting to sell a stolen headstone and not a garden statue. The antique dealer was Stephen Score, and when he realized this, he was very upset, and he contacted the Clarksville police right away. Stephen said he would personally deliver little Nannie back to her home in Greenwood Cemetery. He said he bought the statue from a dealer in Indiana for $2,200, and she got it from a man just passing through who said he got it from a garden in St. Louis. The arm was broken when Stephen received it, so he spent another $500 repairing the arm. He and his wife then made the long journey from Boston to Clarksville, a 23-hour drive in an old station wagon in the middle of summer without AC, and they delivered her safely. There was a large crowd gathered to welcome little Nannie back home that day, July 1st, 1996. Stephen was greatly celebrated for returning her to Clarksville. And it's interesting to note that he passed away in 2023 at age 79 on the very same day as Nannie, September 9th, 138 years later. There was an actual photo of Nannie used for the making of her statue. The photo was taken in downtown Clarksville, probably only a few months before her death. But it was taken at a studio owned by William J. McCormick on Franklin Street. The building is still standing and is the present-day location of the Black Horse Pub. The studio was on the second floor, and the reason for the interesting roof line is that Mr. McCormick had a skylight installed for better lighting for his portraits. This is another view of the building. Sorry about the glare. Little Nannie is surrounded by her family, and this was a previously unmarked grave. A local historian believes it to be the grave of a sibling of Nannie, possibly stillborn, and she bought the marker for it. This is Armistead Mitchell. This was a grandson of Judge Tyler. His mother was Emily Tyler Mitchell Bailey, and he loved his grandfather so much he wanted to be buried beside him. And that's little Armistead on the left as a little boy. This is Quintus. He was a half-brother of Judge Tyler. His mother died when he was just 4 years old, and he was later raised by his stepmother, Mildred, and he wished to be buried beside her. Emmy Tyler, 1849-1932, was a sister to Judge Tyler and never married. The home where the Tylers lived and where little Nannie died still stands on Greenwood Avenue. Judge Tyler's initials are in the iron gate at the front walkway. CWT, Charles Waller Tyler. The home to the left of Judge Tyler's home was where his sister lived with her husband, Polk Grundy Johnson. We visited his grave in the beginning of the video. His first wife died young, and he married Nannie Tyler, whom little Nannie was named after. I can't find anything on Nannie Tyler Johnson after a 1911 listing of her address in a directory. The home was sold in 1917, and it's not known when she died or where she may be buried. Little Nannie Tyler won the hearts of so many across the country when her statue was stolen and then joyfully returned in 1996. But she's always been in the hearts of the people of Clarksville since 1885, and I'm sure she will remain there. Rest in peace, Nannie Tyler, Clarksville's little darling.